This empty chair represents the addict who died today, not knowing recovery was possible.
Okay, look who's back. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of The Empty Chair. Cole was nice enough to let me fill in tonight because I invited a couple of, to me, very special guests. And you know, I after the last shows, and Cole gave me numbers tonight about the overdoses and so forth. I'm not going to repeat them because I'm going to try and stay on a positive note for this show. This show is about the miracle of recovery. And when I talk about miracles of recovery, I talk about who is my boss now, Cole Welch, who is the president of MVP ASAP. I know you guys know a lot about her, but she's got her hands into everything. Uh, a lot of it is at my fault. She became president of the Merrimack Valley Prevention and Substance Abuse Project because I was stepping down. She took over my podcast because I was stepping down. and on my and you know obviously she works out of the police department in the cares department, helping addicts find recovery and follows up on overdoses. She does a million things, and on top of that, she helps me out, me and Fran out with the Circle of Hope, our support group. And first Monday of every month, she'll bring down a guest speaker, resource night, she calls it. And anyone's invited. And it's a good way to expand your education on substance abuse. So I just wanted to give Cole a plug because she deserves it. She's awesome. Okay, now I have Dan and Lauren. We're going to talk a little bit about their past, but the reason I got connected with Dan was through his mother, who, like many of us parents, was really at wit's end. And we had a little talk and we got hooked up. And next thing you know, he was getting a scholarship from MVP ASAP and another real warrior in the addiction field, Louise Griffin, who is runs Zach's house, named after her son Zach, who passed away due to overdose. And she's awesome, and I haven't seen her around. I miss her. Okay, we're gonna, as a rule, we do ladies first, but we're not doing that tonight.
Thank God.
All right, we're gonna start with Dan, and like I said, we're just gonna spend a little time on your past. But why don't you? I mean, how old are you now, Dan?
29.
29. Okay. How old were you when you started experimenting?
Hard drugs was I started 15.
Okay.
I dibbled and dabbled probably 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
I had an older brother. I always hung out with the older kids, so they were doing it. And then
Okay.
I was the younger one.
Yeah.
Experiment.
Yeah. And just so people understand, I know we've said this a million times, 10, 11, 12 is the norm when they start experimenting. And some kids, they grow out of it, and some, because they're so young, kind of get sucked into the harder stuff. So how did you kind of progress from dabbling to it being pretty much your whole life?
So like I said, I hung out with my older brother and the older kids. He hung out with older people than he was at the time. And so I smoked weed once in a while. I smoked cigarettes, and I drank once in a while. And it was funny to see the younger kid falling around, And I did that up until about 15. I wouldn't say it was a problem. It was just kind of like the young teen doing it, experimenting. And then 15, my father died. Okay. And I kind of shut down, and the anger just ate at me. And that was high school. So that's when like things, the harder stuff starts to come to light, And at that time, Perk 30s were just everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed away from them for a while. And then I remember at one point I was just like, I don't care anymore. Just I want anything and everything kind of thing. So I started with the Perk 30s and kind of took off and got really heavy into them.
Mm-hmm. And this is when you were, excuse me, this is roughly when you were around 15.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's progress. Like I say, we're going to go through the ugly stuff quick.
Yeah.
Did you ever even progress past that?
Oh, yeah.
What did we do after that, as if I didn't know?
Yeah. So, I mean, high school, I was a mess. I don't even know how I got through high school. And I even see
I didn't use drugs. I don't know how I got through high school either.
But I see teachers now sometimes. I just ran into one the other day with Lauren, and he was like, "You look great."
Yeah.
And I didn't notice it back then, but I was a mess in high school.
Right.
And so I got out of high school, and so when I was about 18, 19, the Perk 30s all started going away. And by that time, I was addicted. I didn't know I was physically addicted.
Sure.
And that's when heroin came into the picture. And I was sniffing it and smoking it at the time.
Yeah.
And then I had a friend that was like, well, I do it like this. And it was IV.
Sure.
And I did that. And that was the last time I did it any other way.
Yeah, that's a whole new ballgame. I know
yeah.
my daughter has said the same thing on many occasions. All right. So now you're an IV user. And how old are you now at this time?
About 19.
All right. 19. What kind of impact, and like I say, I know the kind of impact it has on the family because I was impacted, but what kind of impact did it have, like on your mom or the rest of your family?
At this time, I wasn't living at home.
You were?
I wasn't.
Oh, you wasn't?
I was
okay.
living at a girlfriend's house at the time.
Okay.
And
not named Lauren?
No.
Okay.
No. And so I would talk to my mom every once in a while. Sometimes we would go out and get lunch and stuff like that. And I remember one time she said to me, "Are you using heroin?" And I said no. And she knew, but she just it wasn't in light yet. And shortly after my IV use, I got caught. I broke into a car.
Okay.
Ended up being a cop's car.
Oh, nice choice.
Yeah.
Choice.
Yeah, I hit the lottery big.
Yeah.
And that created a lot of mess in my life. I bailed out and I went back to the same girl's house. And my grandmother, mother, and aunt all rolled through and screaming at me and begging me and please. And obviously I didn't care. I was addicted to drugs. Right. I didn't care what anybody else felt. It was all about me.
Yeah, and not to interrupt you, but what he was just explaining about his family is very common. Because they don't know how to deal with someone in active addiction.
Mm-hmm.
They actually think they can reason with them
or
talk them out of it. That don't fly, does it?
No, but that was short-lived.
Yeah.
Because probably about a week later, they Section 35 me.
Well, good for them.
Yes, very good for them.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't happy about.
No, I'm sure you weren't.
And so at this point, I've never been to jail before, and it was all like I'm in the back of a paddy wagon with people going to jail. So I mean, it kind of gave me like that scared straight moment.
Good,
but I still didn't really care at the same time. And I went to this really nice facility in Plymouth, and I was like, "Oh, this isn't too bad." You know, still sucked because I wasn't out using drugs, but it wasn't bad. Well, I'm an addict, and we do stupid stuff.
I know. Just in case you people are all surprised at home, addicts, they ain't the brightest bulbs on the tree when they're active.
No. And so I got kicked out of that program. This is a court-ordered program.
Right.
So there's either that program or there's another program called Massac, and at the time it was at Bridgewater.
Oh, that's a fun place.
Yeah. So that's basically jail.
Yeah.
And it's actually worse than jail, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a crazy time. I remember calling my mom, and I was like, I was telling Lauren the story the other day. Some kid in there went crazy, and I'm not going to get into it, but I called my mom freaking out. I was like, "What did you do? You put me in this place," and she tried like,
and you're right. It was all her fault.
yeah,
It was all her.
I know. Imagine that.
Us parents really suck when it comes to that.
And so I mean, I'm just an addict playing on other people's emotions, and manipulating. And she tried like hell to get me out of there, and obviously she couldn't because it's court ordered. But I mean, I stayed straight. I think I was like 90 days. And I probably stayed straight another couple months out of there, and then fell back. And
okay, now, like I said, what finally gave you the motivation to say enough's enough?
So fast forward, 6 or 7 years of being homeless and active addiction and just living like a maniac. My last time in detox, I was pretty much tired. I was just tired of going in and out, being homeless, and then breaking rules and having all these rules to break, you know what I mean? And so I was in a program, Baldpate.
Okay.
Yeah, really good program.
Yeah,
a lot of
actually,
good staff over there.
My daughter spent a little time there.
Yeah, and they were trying to get me into a place, and they couldn't find one. And at the time, Zach's house was just about to open up.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it wasn't going to be ready by my release date. And so I threw a Hail Mary, and I called my grandparents, which at the time was kind of, I don't want to say desperate because I love my grandparents, but the way they lived was a very different back then of how I lived.
Sure.
They're very religious, like to go to church, all about hard work, not any bad things, but at the time I wasn't ready for that kind of stuff. And I called them, and they let me move in until Zach's house opened up.
Oh, okay.
Went to Zach's house, and it wasn't all perfect. I had relapses, but I just had. People ask me that all the time. I don't know. I was just sick of being sick.
It was at that time there that you at least realized you needed help.
Yeah, and I was just sick of being sick.
Yeah,
sick
and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah, and it wasn't just about the dope sick. It was just about the mental wear I had on me.
Okay, so we got through your history. Lauren, you didn't think you're going to get off the hook, did you?
I was kind of hoping.
Yeah, well. Tell me now, and how old were you when you started to dabble?
Started with weed and alcohol, same age, 10, 11.
I know.
Honestly, I skipped a lot of what Danny did. By 16, I think I did a perk twice and then went straight to the needle.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fast.
Yeah, it was
I didn't waste any time.
Now, how old were you when you did this then?
16.
16. Okay. And why the quick jump? Was it people you were with or people you were associating with? Did somebody tell you, this is a lot better, you get a better high, a quicker high, a lasting high, whatever?
Yeah, there was definitely a couple people in my life at the time that romanticized heroin. But to be honest, years down the road, I figured out that a big part of it was because I wanted the attention.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
I wasn't getting like good attention because I was the screw up. So I figured bad attention was better than nothing at all.
Yeah. I mean, what people have to understand, there's like 1,000 different reasons. It could be genetics, peer pressure, wanting to belong. With my daughter, she wanted to belong to a group and so forth like that. You started young, but yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways. So at 15 or 16, how long did that last?
Till I was 24.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Solid 8 years of hell. Excuse my language.
You are so lucky, young lady, to be alive.
I am.
I'm going to take a wild guess. It was probably a couple of overdoses in that period.
Yeah, 1 or 2.
1 or 2. Anything serious?
Once. Fortunately, somebody at the house I was at knew what he was doing and gave me CPR.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, was that? I'm going to take a wild guess that didn't stop you.
No.
Nope. What? And I asked. I know I used to ask my daughter that. I said, because she overdosed a couple of times, real bad ones, and I said, back then, I said, weren't you afraid of overdosing? And she said, no. She says, I figured it would happen. I knew what I was doing.
Right.
And only the dummies overdose. Well, then she had 3 overdoses, so that put her in a class. So you did that all those years.
Mm-hmm.
That's scary, honey.
Yes.
What finally made you come to the point where you said, enough, or I need help?
I mean, I knew I needed help for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
About 18. I swear, like, the day I turned 18, I went to jail. Like, they were waiting for me to turn 18.
Yeah.
And just the in and out. I didn't really go to programs. It was just jail, homeless, jail, homeless.
Oh
my family wasn't having it, and I don't blame them.
Yeah, well, and now tell me, how did it impact your family, like in the beginning stages?
So the same time I started getting heavy into drugs, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder.
Okay, and just for everybody to know, dual diagnosis plays a huge part in substance abuse.
Yes.
Go ahead, honey.
So they wanted to get me help, but both my parents were alcoholics.
Mm-hmm.
There was such a huge stigma around mental health and substance abuse.
Sure.
At that time.
Absolutely.
So it was hard to find help. And I think they just panicked. They tried hard to find help for me, and I kept throwing it back in their face because I wanted to do what I wanted to do. And eventually them and my older sister were like, you gotta go.
Right.
Figure it out yourself.
Yeah, I know. I had to do that with my daughter. It's hard.
Yeah.
Believe me, your parents, it's hard to do. But so there was a genetic thing in your family also, which also played a big part, I'm sure. Also.
Long line.
Yeah.
Parents, grandparents.
Yeah.
Great grandparents.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah.
All right. So what really got you into the fact that you wanted recovery?
So from a super small town, and the courthouse I went to, there weren't that many. I had a probation officer. There weren't that many probation officers. Most of them really weren't about helping people with substance abuse. There was one man there. He was the hard ass, if you will, in the courthouse. And as soon as I got assigned to him, I was like, oh, here we go. He helped me more than anybody I had ever come across. He took one look at me and was like, Lauren, I know you're not a bad person. I know you don't want to be doing everything you're doing right now. I know you just need help. So that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And there were times where I skipped out on him and he had to put me in jail for a month or two, but it was for the best. And he finally found me a program up here in Lowell, Megan's house.
Oh my God.
Yep. Megan's house.
Yeah.
And that was it. For whatever reason, I walked through those doors. And it was like, this is it. I got to do this.
My daughter-in-law used to work there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Victoria Lahey.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a great house.
It's, it is absolutely super. Mary Beth runs an amazing, if you listen to Mary Beth, you run an amazing program. And I love her to death. Actually, we've helped quite a few of the ladies from Megan's house with scholarships over the last few years.
Yeah.
So you got into Megan's house.
I did.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to know something? Now did you have any bad bumps after that?
Surprisingly, no.
Oh. Awesome.
I actually went through Mary Beth. She pulled me aside after I think it was a month in the house, and she was like, "You haven't gotten in trouble yet. Why?" I was like, I don't know, because I just want to keep my head down and get through this. She was like, part of me feels like you might be up to something, but I believe you. So keep doing what you're doing and we'll see. And I did, and she just helped me through.
Yeah. And for those of you that aren't familiar with Megan's House, yeah, that's a program for women 25 and under.
Yeah,
26
like 22 to 29.
22. Oh, okay. They go up a little bit. Okay. But it is for the young ladies there. And I've met so many of them and had the opportunity to visit a lot of them. And I do interviews with them and so forth. And it's a great, great program. All right. By the way, I wanted to let you guys know out there, this is a live show. I can't see because I didn't have my glasses, but the number to call in is over here. So if you want to call in and give a quick hi to Dan and Lauren, that would be great. I also want to thank all of our sponsors. Because of them, you'll see their names going across the top there. Because of them, we can continue to provide scholarships to get people in that next step. So we're going to take 2 minutes. We'll come back, give us a call, and now we're going to hit the fun part of these guys, including their marriage. Be right back. Hi there. My name's Phil Lahey, and I do the Empty Chair Show here. And as much as Fran and I have enjoyed doing this show, our real passion is with where it all began, the Circle of Hope, my support group for the families of addicts. I learned a long time ago that dealing with an active addict is just too difficult. So we invite you to join our group, the Circle of Hope. Give me a call, 978-886-2949, and you'll see our banner on the show anyway. And give me a call, find out what it's all about. If you don't think you're ready to sit into a group, Fran and I always invite people over to the house, and we sit down, have a one-on-one, and we talk about a plan you'll have to set up, how to deal with someone in active addiction, or just give you a chance to vent. So, if you or someone you know has dealing with someone in active addiction, reach out, give a call, take the first step. I promise you that it won't make it easier, but once you understand what it's all about, you'll be able to deal with it a little bit better. So again, 978-886-2949. Just ask for Phil. I'm always available 24/7. Thanks, and we'll see you on the Empty Chair. Bye-bye. Okay, welcome back for the second part of our show. So happy you could be with us. And don't forget, the phone number's there if you want to give them a call. Or if you have questions about our scholarship or how to get through to it, feel free. Now, we got through the horrors of the addiction, but now we're going to talk about the miracle of recovery. And when I say it's a miracle, I heard on the news today, I don't even like to bring up these numbers, but I'm going to. I heard on the news today that over the past 12 months, 109,000 have died from overdose. Think about that. 109,000 in 1 year. This is an epidemic that there is no vaccine for. Our vaccine is part of what we're doing now, educating you, treatment programs, and grasping on the recovery like there's no tomorrow. That's our vaccine. Okay. Just gave you a shot. Okay. All right. So you went through Zach's house, right? What happened after that? Your life is starting to move forward, right?
So at Zach's house, I got a startup job at a Dunkin' Donuts right down the street, and then I went to school for welding and fabrication.
Okay.
I always loved doing it. I had jobs in the past, I could never keep them because I was addicted to drugs, and I started my own little side business, welding. I bought a little 110 welder.
Okay.
And was welding out of the garage. It's now apartments, but yeah, so I started that, and then and I worked the job at Dunks, and I did that on the side, and slowly built it up.
Yeah, and you want to know something? When it comes to people that offer jobs, Dunkin' Donuts, Market Basket, they're very good at hiring people in recovery. So I'll give them that. Okay, so now you're in welding.
Yep.
Okay. And do we got someone, Lou?
Yes, we do.
Okay, let's have it. Who's calling?
It's Dawn, I think.
Oh, Dawn. Oh, I don't want to talk to her. Put your gear on, guys. Okay, Dawn, let them have it.
I'm just so proud of them. An amazing job, and just Phil, everything you've done, and wonderful.
Thanks, Mom.
I just had to call in and I'm just so proud of you.
Well, yeah.
I haven't stopped smiling.
Yeah, you want to know something? You haven't stopped smiling for quite a while. I can remember the first time we discussed your son, and you weren't doing a whole lot of smiling that day.
I wasn't doing a lot of smiling. No, I wasn't. No. We went through a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, he has just made amazing progress, and I am so happy that you met Lauren, and Lauren is just like my daughter. I couldn't love her more if I had given birth to her. So
that would have been weird.
So would you classify them as a miracle?
A miracle, absolutely.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
Absolutely, a miracle success story. They really, and you don't hear a lot about it.
No.
About miracles.
Nope. You usually just hear about the negatives, but that's why I was so excited to drag your son down here and put him on the spot. Dawn, thank you so much for coming, and I do know how appreciative and happy they can make you when they finally make the right choices.
They are my favorite people in the world, and thanks for all you do, Phil, because you're an amazing person.
Well, thank you so much. If you want, you can give me a discount on my bill next time. All right?
Okay.
All right, Dawn, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye now.
Love you.
Love you.
I love you, Mom. Yeah. Okay, so we know he's started his road to recovery in welding. Have you guys met yet? While he's in the beginning.
In Zach's house?
Yeah.
I think we just started dating.
Okay.
Maybe like 3 or 4 months in.
So how did you guys get attracted? Because a lot of times, they frown against people in early recovery.
Her sponsor definitely did.
Yeah, I'll bet they did. So how did that come about? Because I'll be honest with you, I have seen people in recovery help each other, but I've also seen them hurt each other.
Absolutely.
But what made it work for you guys? And I'm talking to you.
Yeah, that's a good question. We met at a meeting.
Yeah.
I kind of just stared him down until he noticed me, and then awkward meetings back and forth. My sponsor was like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
not. Well, how much clean time did you have at this period?
Maybe 4 months.
Yeah,
it's risky.
We call that a good start.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you had 4 months, and how much time did you have at that?
A couple weeks.
I just came off a relapse. Yeah.
Okay, folks, we're gonna take a quick break.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll bet your sponsor was bloody well
I
thrilled.
don't think I had a sponsor yet.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think I had a sponsor, and then I relapsed, and then I didn't have a sponsor.
Yeah.
And
so after 2 weeks,
yeah.
What are you doing fooling around with a guy that's only got 2 weeks?
I didn't know at the time.
I'm handsome.
All right. So how did this relationship progress?
I don't know. I hate saying things like this because they sound corny, but I really think it was just love at first sight.
Really?
It just took off immediately. There was nothing that could get in the way,
She was very apprehensive at first when we first started dating, because she knew I just came off a relapse.
Yeah.
So she wasn't trying to get too close. She liked me, I liked her, but she was ready to kick me to the side if I relapsed again.
I am so that, and when I say that's another thing. On your relationship, did the discussions ever come up? Apparently they did, about if one of you should fall or whatever like that.
Yep.
And I mean, it could have happened to her. If she would have had a relapse or whatever, how do you think you would have handled it?
At the time, I have no idea. I don't know.
You know what?
And now it's even worse. I mean, I'm at a point in my recovery where I would just, it wouldn't take me out kind of thing. I would just want to do everything possible to get her the help she needed.
Yeah. Okay.
But at the time, who knows?
No, at the time you would have went over the cliff with her.
But that was the thing. I think that drew me so much to her. She was ready to get rid of me if I relapsed. You know, like the mindset she had in recovery. I was just like, I wanted that, and I wanted to be close to it. Yeah. And like, it made me want to stay sober.
Yeah. So, and I get, no matter how you stay sober, whatever works for you. I know you have to do it for yourself, but do you think your relationship with her kind of gave you that added incentive to say, oh shit, if I screw it up, she's gone?
Yeah. And absolutely.
Told me that straight up. Yeah.
Like she was definitely like the glue that held me together when I was first getting sober again.
Okay. So how long did this courtship last?
Until what?
Until
it never ended. Now we're married.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Before, when did it become more than just dating or boyfriend, girlfriend? When did it come to the point where you say, this is the guy?
I think it was like a few months in. We were just we were laying on his bed that I shouldn't have been laying on in Zach's house.
Okay, well, Lou, we're gonna bleep that out. Okay.
And we were just talking, and I
sure you were just talking.
We were, I swear.
Yeah. Okay.
And I forget exactly what the conversation was, but I slipped up and said, "I love you," and he said, "You do?" And I just paused, and I was like, "Oh man, that really just came out." I was like, "Yeah, I do," and then. Oof.
Yeah. I bet it must have been a big load off your mind just to get it out there.
It was, but it was also terrifying.
Yeah. Now, when she said that to you, obviously you didn't run. So what was your response?
I'm pretty sure I paused to make her sweat a little bit. And then I said, I love you too. Yeah.
It was a pretty intense moment.
Yeah. Now, how long did you date before you finally tied the knot?
I think we got engaged after about 1.5 years. And then we were going to wait till the following year, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
So we just got married this past October.
Okay.
But we've been together about 4 years.
Well, you know what? And that's pretty awesome. I am glad you had a long engagement, as it turned out, unfortunately for COVID.
Right.
But obviously, you guys are helping each other, I guess.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That is terrific. Okay. Now, I also know that you guys are in business together now.
Yes.
Why don't you fill us in a little bit on that? Now, is this full-time thing now? Or?
Full-time for him. Kind of part-time for me.
Starting like how I started.
Okay.
With the part-time job and then doing this on the side until she picks up the work.
Okay.
So I do welding and fabrication. I make a lot of wrought iron railings for like people's homes, and schools and ramps, handicap ramps and stuff like that.
Oh, awesome!
And we get our stuff powder coated instead of painted. And my powder coater last year shut down. He said 2 weeks. He was down for 3 months, and he was like my main powder coater, and kind of screwed things up and whatever. I mean, shame on me for only having one trick in my bag, and she wanted to do her own thing, and she's always fought with these jobs because it's not exactly what she wants to do. She sees how I am with my business and how free it is and how rewarding it is. And don't get me wrong, it's not all fun and glamorous.
No, I've never seen everybody do cartwheels after a welding job, but but I do understand you're creating something, and it's your business.
Yeah, and so she was interested in starting powder coating and sandblasting, which is a big part of my business. And
always the lady.
I supported her very much.
So. All right. So now explain to our viewers, including me, exactly what it is you do.
So I take these big bags of sand and I put them in these big pots and I spray down anything metal to clean it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, take all the paint, rust, anything off, and then haven't quite reached the powder coating part yet. Still got to get that set up. But literally just spray powder onto stuff and bake it on.
So I mean, did you enjoy that job, or do you enjoy doing the business with him?
Both.
When
my bright idea came to light, when his guy shut down, I said, well, why don't we do it ourselves? You know what I mean? I like the freedom of it because I get to go to the shop and do my own thing.
Right.
He works on what he needs to work on. I do my stuff. We hang out. That's always nice.
Yeah.
But as far as the actual work, I've always been a physical labor kind of person. Not really sure why. But
nothing wrong with it.
No, nothing wrong with it at all.
I know my daughter's in the same category.
Right. I've tried sitting behind a desk, can't do it.
No. I can understand that. I truly can. So you guys have what is an up and coming business, I'm going to think.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are you looking to expand your talents?
I mean, yeah, I'd like to go as far as I possibly can with all this.
Yeah. Is he your teacher now too, or
more or less?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been a huge part of it. Yeah. I struggle. The mental health thing holds me back a lot still.
Sure. Yeah.
There's days I can't even get out of bed.
I get that.
So
now, you guys have brought up the mental health issue. Are you on treatment for that also?
I am, but I will tell you, especially now, finding a therapist or a psychiatrist has been so difficult. Fortunately, Zach's house actually found I don't want to say a loophole, but they helped me. Obviously, it's not a woman's house, but they've helped me find a new psychiatrist.
That's great.
It was such a struggle for us. I watch her and it's just painful to watch her. She needs help and we can't find anybody to help her, it's
hard.
Yeah, it's really hard.
And what about, isn't there a facility called Columbine?
Columbine.
Yeah,
not Columbine.
Not Columbine, yeah.
That's who Zach House referred us to.
Oh, okay.
That's
because I know from our group, some of my members, their kids who have dual diagnosis have used and been very successful with them.
That's where I'm going.
That's awesome.
Yes.
And and like I said, I'm so glad that I'm not glad you got a mental issue. I'm so glad you are not afraid to talk about it.
Right.
Because as I said, dual diagnosis is such a huge part, and you can't treat one without the other.
Right. Exactly.
So good for you.
Thanks.
Now, we get a little bit of time left. Let me ask, we'll start with you, Lauren.
Okay.
What's your relationship with family now, your family?
So it was kind of weird how things went. My older sister, we were very close when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
When I started using drugs, she tried to help me at first, and then I burned that bridge real fast.
Yep.
We didn't speak for maybe 6 years.
Wow.
Now we are very close. My parents, I had my issues with them. I was kind of like the rebellious kid. Anything my parents said, I didn't want to hear it. But I got really close to them as I grew up, and my mom especially was very close to her, and she always tried to help me. Unfortunately, they passed away a couple of years ago.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Thank you. But they were able to see me get clean and stay clean.
That's great.
Which is great.
Yeah. So how many years clean do you have now?
It will be 5 in November, God willing. Yes.
That is wonderful. And I didn't even ask how many years you got in now.
I just came up on 3.
Good for you. Good for you. I've got a year and a half, by the way. Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm an alcoholic. I didn't know it until my wife told me. Thank you, Fran.
Sometimes that happens.
Yeah. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah.
72. We got someone new?
Yes.
Hello, who's calling now?
Hi, Phil. It's Michelle. I'm your daughter's friend. We got clean together in 08. Do you remember me? I lost my husband in 2000.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Yes.
Well, it's been a minute since I've chatted with you, but I just wanted to thank you for coming on the show. It's so nice to see you, and I did talk to your daughter recently and sent my love to you and your wife.
Well, thank you.
And I just needed, I'm really compelled to chat today, to call in today because, when I first got clean, I'm a woman with long-term recovery. Like I said, I got clean in 08 and, with your daughter and,
right.
Like your Merrimack Valley VSAP and, your support group wasn't around then. And I don't think sectioning people was a thing either back in those years. But it's so important that families utilize what you have to offer your support group.
Mm-hmm.
Because my mother recently passed away in November.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. And she had to use some tough love on me, And, she said to me, like, if you're doing that, like, you're not welcome here anymore. And, and then, Lauren, I just want to congratulate you on the leaps and bounds that you've made since you got clean. Like,
thank you.
You're such an inspiration for even myself, like the things that you're doing in your life. And I'm probably double your age. But,
that's all right. I'm probably triple yours.
And, I work in the field and, like Lauren, you said that your probation officer helped you, was the only person that helped you. And like, I didn't even know that recovery was possible until I got arrested.
Right.
And I used in Lawrence and I got clean in Lawrence. Okay. And you know why? Because that probation officer was a tough dude. Like he was the shortest one probably out of the office, but I feared that guy and I played a lot of games and he was on me like flies on rice.
Yep.
And today I go to the courthouse. Now he's an assistant probation officer in one of the local courthouses. And he calls me his miracle client. I was like, I owe my life to you because you forced me to get my act together. And now I'm working in a field that can, he can help others, and I'm doing the same thing, kind of like I'm a criminal justice major. I'm going to UMass Law. I'm going for my master's degree and blah, blah, blah. But I wouldn't be alive if that guy did not make me go to meetings.
Right.
That's the bottom line, And I worked with Mary Beth at a different program, and I learned so much from her. And I worked at the Lowell House, and I think the Lowell House opened Zach's place. I worked at the Lowell House before Zach's place was open, but it was just a thought at that point. And these programs literally help save lives, and there's a structure around them, and so just to reduce that stigma,
right.
The addiction is it's a thing that's really going on and people need the help. So I commend you both for putting yourself out there and coming in and speaking today and sharing your experience, strength, and hope. And Phil, keep doing what you're doing because, in the greater scheme of things, it's really just at the end of the day, it's about how can we just save another life.
Well,
so
thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for giving us a call.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And hugs to you and your lovely wife. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Okay.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Okay.
I have to say that at least 4 or 5 times during the podcast, or I'll catch holy hell. She's awesome. Thank you for calling, Michelle.
Okay. Enjoy your night. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
That was
So,
sweet.
I mean, okay. Now we're back to the family thing.
Mhm.
Now I know your mom made it pretty obviously that she's got no use for you. What about the rest of the family?
Everyone's. I talk to almost everybody. The only one I really don't talk to is one of my aunts, and that was no relation to me or anything. It was just a family squabble.
Sure.
And,
But I mean, how have, on both your ends, how have they accepted your recovery? A lot of them, that don't educate themselves,
they don't hide
they
their
don't think
purses
it's a
anymore.
disease, huh?
They don't hide their purses anymore.
Well, that's a plus. They better not hang around me though.
No, they just they support me in my recovery, and they celebrate it with me.
Do they?
And yeah, both of ours, they
Great.
just always congratulating us. And I'm kind of one of those people that like my third year, like I was like, I don't need, and even my second year, and I was like, I don't need congratulations. I don't know. I just not. I feel like it's something I should have always done.
Yeah, and I get
I'm
that.
proud of the
and you want to know
progress I
something?
made. But
When you have a celebration, because my daughter, I've been to 13 of hers, and it's not so much about your celebration as others out there seeing, wow, I could do that.
Yeah,
I want that.
Yeah.
And you guys got it. And like I say, I mean, talk about this. I don't know if you'd call it a storybook romance, but I mean, you two, theoretically, neither one of you should be alive.
Right.
absolutely.
Okay. Anyone who sticks a needle in their arm, just out of curiosity, when you guys were using, was that before the big fentanyl jump?
Yeah, I kind of caught the end of that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when I got sectioned, when I came back out, they just started mixing it with heroin.
Yeah.
And then I went out on a bag of fentanyl. And then I went to other drugs, and I stopped using. I haven't used heroin in probably like 6, 7 years.
2-3 hours.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So
you guys did just catch the tail end of it.
yeah.
And like I say, my daughter stuck a needle in her arm for about 8 years. And I think we would both agree that if fentanyl was around back then, and she wouldn't. Yeah, she wouldn't be. I mean, that stuff is freaking poison. Yeah, it's poison. So, tell me something now. I know you guys are together. Any plans on a family, or?
Yeah. There's been discussions.
Oh, okay, okay. So it's you guys.
When we first got together, she wanted nothing to do with kids.
Really?
We got married. She's like, I can't wait to have a kid. So,
but that's understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are still young.
Yep.
I
want at least one. I know they said.
Yeah, it's easy for you to say.
Right.
You want at least one. Like you're gonna give birth, right?
Exactly.
But yeah.
But and I'm sure your mother wouldn't be upset about
her
it.
and my grandmother keep asking.
Yeah, they're ready.
Yeah, they're ready.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's very encouraging.
Yes.
Okay, listen, guys, we only got about 5 minutes or so. Okay, you guys have been through the bad, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay. Now, if you're talking to parents out there who have young kids that are 10, 12, 13 years old, what would you tell them? What would you tell them that might help them make a difference for what you went through at that young an age?
I think the biggest thing would be not to dismiss bad behavior. It might not just be a phase. They might really need help.
Yep.
And it's easy to overlook it at that age because kids are kids.
Yeah.
But it's important.
Well, and like especially like in your case, when you started, you gradually went. You took a jump like
yeah.
But again, that could have had a lot to do with your genetics and your insecurity about friendship and so forth like that.
Definitely.
And when you're that young, you don't reason things out.
Right.
I mean, my daughter said, she says, I never thought I'd be a heroin addict. She says heroin addicts were the ones walking down the street with a garbage bag over their shoulder.
Exactly.
She was absolutely flabbergasted when she had to admit,
one.
yeah. So what do you tell what do you tell, as a matter of fact, I wish you guys would do this sometime. I remember quite a few years ago, Chimney School got in touch with me because I had them on, the principal do a show with me. And they asked my daughter to come and speak to the 7th grade class, who they had quite a few were experiment with marijuana. So she went down there, and there was the whole 7th grade class. There must have been 150 kids. And Colleen spoke to them, and she spoke to them like they understood. I mean, I never thought I would have seen this. You could have hit a pin drop. Wow. And when she was all done, there must have been 40 of them that come up and had about 1 million questions for her. Do you think that someone who has been through that, going to a school, talking to the younger ones, do you think that could have a positive impact?
Absolutely. I'd love to do something like that.
Yeah, I would love to see you do something like that. And don't be surprised if, don't forget, I follow you guys on Facebook.
Things.
I follow you guys on Facebook, so, you can't hide.
Yeah.
Can't hide. But, I think that, as a matter of fact, I know Cole and we've been thinking about doing this a lot. And now that hopefully COVID is starting to loosen up, we're going to be reaching out to quite a few of the schools and like to bring in people that are under 30, talking to, middle school or high school, because they can relate to your age. And you can relate to theirs, because it wasn't that long ago that you were going through what they were.
Cutting it close at 29.
No, you're fine. You're fine. 29. Oh boy, you're old.
Yeah.
Guys, I've enjoyed having you on the show. I mean,
thanks for having us.
No, believe me, you did me a favor, and I'm so happy to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So
finally.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I know Facebook, we're back and forth and so forth, but I talk to your mom every time I see your mom. How's you doing? Like I said, she's absolutely.
She always tells me when you come in.
Huh?
She always I text her every day.
Oh, okay.
She'd tell me.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, Phil came in today.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I say, I'm thrilled for you guys, and
Thank you.
I'm just so proud of you.
Thank you.
I am, and I will be watching.
I believe you.
So don't screw around. Guys, I am so happy to have been a part of Dan's journey, really right from the beginning, and I'm so happy that you guys made a connection. And like I said, the miracle of recovery.
Yeah.
So, guys, I've had a great time. See, Cole let me do this one, but the stipulation was I got to do the next one now too. Yeah. She's gonna be out of town, so.
And that's next week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess what do they call that? Quid pro quo? Or,
Yeah.
Not crow, quo.
Quid
Quo. Okay. So anyway, guys, I'll be seeing you again next week. I'm not exactly sure who the guest is, but I'm sure Cole will fill me in. Again, you guys, thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Congratulations on not only your recovery, but your marriage and the wonderful things you're doing together. And it was a pleasure to have you here. And guys, again, thank you all for joining us on The Empty Chair. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.